Yesterday, so I couldn't give you guys a content. So I'll maybe give you guys two or three contents today just to make up the lost time for yesterday. Hope your morning is good, doing so well so far. Friday, the end of the week. Thank God also for a lot of people. It's payday and all of those kind of things. I want to say again, a happy Friday. Hope everything is doing well. Hello, Friday. Here we are once again. When you see the title, sit down and brace yourself for this content. I am sure she's not the only one. As a black sister, face it when they come to their family doctor. As we know, most of the time, it's hard to find a family doctor that look like us. So at times we find a family doctor that are from Egypt, from India, and all of these kind of doctors that we find at times, they don't have no respect. They claim for us and all of these kind of things. Now, from you see the title, I don't have to even stress the title of the content, so to speak. So because I had you guys waiting for me yesterday and I never dropped a content for you guys yesterday, before we get to anything else, we have a bunch of things that we want to talk about, but I guess we should just get right in the content. So to all my loyal subscribers, a big thank you for waiting for me to come with a content when I can. I really appreciate you. And for everybody else who's always watching peacefully, waiting for me to come, I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming over at all times. So like, comment, and share if you can. But like I said, hello Friday. So let's get into the content, so to speak. Thank you for waiting for me. I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so let's get into it. As the best of my ability, I'm going to read the best that I can. Many patients of a gynecologist linked to infection exposure were new Canadians unaware of a complaint process. Now, if you go to your doctor and your doctor give you some kind of lip service, and if you go to your doctor ill treat you, there's a way for you to go and complain. Hope you know that. So let's get into this one. Quick and fast. Claudia Gomez had just moved to Canada from Colombia when she said she had a traumatic experience with the gynecologist. She said she went in for a pap test and was instead giving a biopsy with no warning. So imagine that you're going for a pap test. You guys know as a woman, you have to go and do a pap test 5 years and more, right? So you got to do a pap test. You know that if your pap test is covered by your OHIP, and at the end of the day, a lot of times you will get a letter saying it's time for you to do your pap smear, or your good family doctor will ask you, when was the last time you had a pap smear? Let me see in your file and come and have a pap smear. So a lot of times women go and get a pap test, yes, or a pap smear, they call it quite so. She said she went in for a pap test and was instead given a biopsy. Oh no, with no warning. I was myself. I was by myself. I didn't have any path to protect myself. I started bleeding. And she said I could be in pain for a few days, said Gomez, recalling the experience she said happened 4 years ago. So if that happened 4 years ago, then therefore Gomez cannot sue. In this country, you have 2 years to sue whoever you're suing. So 4 years ago, that was her experience. She's new in this country, and she went to go do a pap smear, a pap test, and end up with a biopsy, end up bleeding, almost bleeding like a dog. Let's continue. I didn't know the system. I thought I didn't have any other options. After CBC Toronto was the first to report, Joshua, good morning. Thank you for stopping by. I didn't know the system and I thought I didn't have any other options. After CBC, Toronto was the first to report a Toronto gynecologist linked to potential exposure to bloodborne infections. Several patients reach out with their own negativity experience. Yeah. So they basically saying that Dr. Esther Park is very negative and she have negative experience, and she come with her negativity, not only with her negative experience, her negative attitude, but not cleaning her stuff them according to all of her need, not cleaning the stuff them that she's supposed to be cleaning to look after her patient. Let's continue. Dr. Esther Park, many of them were new to Canada and said not knowing the language or how to navigate the medical system made it harder for them to complain. Sometime in something advocates say it's wilder issue across the healthcare system. Now, we know when it comes to the healthcare system, people as minority at times were discriminated against. Okay, one of these days I will come and tell you guys my story and stuff like that. But we're really not even going to get into it because I know that when it comes to racism and black women, when it comes to going to the doctor, when it goes to the hospital and all of these kind of things, we also know that when it comes to black mothers, they have a mortality rate of dying in childbirth more than any other nationality. Put that in your pipe and smoke it for a second. Sit on that for a second to know that a black person is mortality more being in the hospital or dying from childbirth more than any other nationality. So we shout out how comes. Let's continue. So around 2,500 patients were notified by Toronto Public Health earlier this year that they may have been exposed to hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. Now, people, let that sit down for a second. I know you're very my loyalty, Joshua. That's why I always shout you out. That's why when I do my content, I said, shout out to my loyal subscriber, and that you're one of them. You're always here no matter what. You're always around no matter how you see my life, no matter what it is, you're always around. You're not bad man. You have an open mind, and you're always here, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much. So now, remember the content that I did the other day on Fire Blacks. Remember how the black community outed out Fire Blacks because he had HIV and blah, 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 and do, and everybody was saying he possibly got it from man and all these kind of stuff. Now look, this is a doctor. This is a gynecologist doctor's office. Right? This is a gynecologist office under investigation, right? For 2,500 patients exposed to hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. So imagine that you just go into this gynecologist just to do a pap smear, you end up with a biopsy. You go to this gynecologist to check out your good body. As a woman, you end up with maybe hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. Could you imagine? As a doctor. Let's continue. So around 2,500 patients were notified by Toronto Public Health earlier this year that they may have been exposed to hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV at the Parks Clinic due to improper cleaning protocols. So what did I say to you guys? People them are using their utensils. Yeah. And I will say that because fork and spoons and stuff are utensils for a lot of us. But when it comes to the doctor, all of their equipment, is utensils, to be honest. So you just kiss your teeth and pass, right? But anyways, I just sum it up in that word, okay? So basically her tools. So more time, maybe when they take all their needles, take all their blood and stuff, they don't discard the needle properly. They don't wash all their stuff that they're supposed to. Not only that, people, they were over diluting the disinfection solution. Okay, so proper cleaning protocols including, remember, as we know, most of these doctors use speculums, right? So you have to clean your speculums properly. Okay, remember when it comes to your speculums, as a doctor, those things have to be disassembled. They have to be clean significantly. You can't over dilute the disinfecting solution where your speculums are going to be in. I may shout that in medical term. Let's pass on. Says there's no updates to share on the investigation and no infection confirmed related to the practice. Okay. Remember, like I say to you guys, you can go and do a HIV test today and it shows negative, and 6 months later it's in your blood. So when somebody come out here and said, oh, I took a HIV test, see me test ya. Here's my test. I don't have HIV. Boo hoo hoo. Show me yours. Well, go and do that test 6 months from now and see if your blood is clean. Because you can test yourself now and you don't have it, and 6 months later you're full-blown HIV. So know yourself in these times. So when you're out here worrying about HIV, all these key people have it. You can go any little places and end up contracting this HIV from a family doctor, from a doctor, a gynecologist office. You understand what I'm saying? a gynecologist office that you go and do your checkup. Anyways, let's continue. Gomez said after the experience, she ended up going to a nearby nonprofit that provides immigration and settlement support for help. There, she said she was provided with pain medication, a pad, and a safe place to rest at the time. So after she gave this lady a biopsy, she never gave her, prescribed her no pain medication. She never told her to go take some Tylenol or some Advil, and she never even gave her a pad to sap up all of that. Remember, the lady went to the gynecologist. Okay, nothing down there was bleeding. Remember, she went for a pap smear. When you do a pap smear, most of the time that shit hurt because you know that's an iron going inside of you and it's almost looking like a penis, and that shit hurts and big and it hurts. You understand what I'm saying? Depends on your underneath. Depends on what underneath you have. But I know mostly woman, that shit hurts. Right? So imagine that you're going for, because a lot of people don't want to do a pap smear because they say it hurt. And a lot of people don't want to do a pap smear because their family doctor or their gynecologist is a man. And more time, you know, you don't want a man up in your cooch, but some people are more relaxed for a man to do it, and some people are more relaxed for a woman to do it. Yes. Not only that, imagine that you go there for a pap smear, knowing that you're not going to bleed, knowing that, you know, just only certain things are going to come out on the pap smear, and then they're going to do a test, and in a couple of weeks or so, they're going to call you back and let you know what's going on most of the time. Not only that, if you have something, it won't be the gynecologist calling you to let you know something. It will be public health telling you, well, you had something or you have something, quite so to speak. Let's continue. My English was bad and I felt hopeless, she said. Natalie Mera, the executive director of the Ontario Health Coalition, a nonprofit that advocates to protect and improve healthcare, she said people are already very scared to complain about doctors. Remember, I said you could complain about your doctor if your doctor wants to be an ass or your doctor treat you differently than any other person's. Okay? People are afraid to do it, and there's a big power imbalance. Language barriers can make access even worse, she said. I would always encourage people to make a complaint to the college. They do an investigation, and that's important because if there's really is a problem, that's really the only accountability. Okay? So remember, like I said to you guys, this same office under scrutiny, under problem, under investigation because 2,500 patients has been notified by public health that possibly they have hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV, or they're exposed to it. Rather, I should put that in. Okay. My English was bad. I felt hopeless, she said. Natalie Murr, the executive, okay, of the coalition, said that most of the victims that come across her was kind of scared and did not want to complain about the situation at all. Okay. The CPSO is also investigating the park relation to infection control issues in her practice. It has not shared specific or the number of complaints filed about the park citing confidential and restriction. The CPSO physician register says that park license has been restricted as of December to office-based gynecology. So right now her license is being restricted from doing certain things that she's not supposed to be doing. Okay. In a statement to CBC Toronto, the CBSO said it aimed to provide the public health with access to service and supporting the language of their choice. For example, with the support of an audio service, patient will be calling the college and connect with an interpreter in one of 240 languages, the statement said. Okay, so when you really think about these people, imagine that you went to a gynecologist and now you're exposed to hepatitis C, hepatitis B, and HIV. So I want you guys to hear the story for you guys. Actually, I want you guys to hear when there was many complaints that came in from this. Okay, so let's get to the complaints that came in 22 days about this place, and then we're going to hear from the lady who was a victim of the biopsy instead of the pap smear. Okay, all right, so let's start the pap test. Okay, let's get in there.
Sandra Cole, a former patient of Dr. Esther Park, stands outside the clinic with a sign. Public health officials are warning around 2,500 people may have been exposed to bloodborne infections at the office, citing issues with cleaning medical tools. Her goal? To warn patients and demand accountability.
We need to start exposing these doctors, and we need to start exposing the College of Physicians and Surgeons' lack of accountability once and for all. It shouldn't take hundreds and thousands of complaints before something happens. It should be one complaint should be good enough.
That sentiment is shared by
Okay.
Rachel Malanta, who filed a complaint about
Listen.
Park to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario in 2021.
Listen.
When the doctor came in, she stood in the doorway, did not close the door. We couldn't have been more than, say, 20 feet away from the lobby, the waiting room where people were. She started asking extremely personal questions. She said to get undressed, and I asked for some sort of covering, whether she had a sheet or anything of that description, a gown. She said, no, I should have brought it from home.
Malanta said after the doctor left the room, she closed the door herself and covered herself with her own tights.
Listen.
The issue I was there for was purely external. So at no point did I consent to any form of internal assessment.
Listen.
And I'd also explicitly said that I was not there for a pap smear. She went between my legs, put her laptop to the side, and the next thing I felt, with absolutely not a word, I felt something get put inside me.
Hear
I
that?
jumped up in pain because this hurt a lot.
Malanta says she was given.
So didn't I not tell you that a pap smear hurt very much so, unless your underneath is a different size than everybody else's? That should hurt like nothing. When a woman is going to go get a pap test, brother, we freak out at times because that should hurt like nothing. Yeah, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it at times. You gotta go and rest your nana on a gynecologist's bed quietly and calmly. So you see what happened to this lady? She went. She was only there for a checkup, not a pap test. But what happened? The lady forcefully put the instrument inside of her, and she was hurting without covering it, without doing anything, without any warning, nothing, just ran. Why? Because most of these people were new in the country. Let's continue.
Given a prescription and no further information. She says she was bleeding for days afterward.
Hear that?
After a tearful call to her mom, she says she put everything in writing and filed an official complaint. She was unsatisfied with the response, which included Park refuting most of her claims.
Calling it a slap on the wrist would be...
So you hear? So every woman that go there come out bleeding. That means she's inserting her tools too hard, too fast, and too rough. There's a way to insert those things. Lubricant, you lube that shit and you put... Oh, Father God, I tell you. Father God, I tell you. So this lady left bleeding. The other black lady left bleeding. And so much more people left bleeding. Not only that, they're exposed to HIV, hepatitis C, and hepatitis B. Just going to a gynecologist's office. Somewhere that you're supposed to be safe. Somewhere that a person who's supposed to be looking after your health. Could you imagine? And that's a woman where you're supposed to be comfortable around more than a man doctor the last time we checked. Let's continue.
An exaggeration. It was nothing. It was basically saying we recommend she does a communications course. I just wrote a long Google review hoping other people considering seeing her would read it, and left. I told everyone who would stand still long enough to listen.
The College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario says it's investigating Dr. Park in relation to infection control issues in her practice. CBC News requested an interview with the college, but they declined. We also asked for the number of complaints filed against the doctor, and the college said they couldn't provide that information, citing confidentiality restrictions. Dr. Park's license is currently listed as restricted on the college's website. This medical malpractice lawyer says if a patient is not satisfied with the CPSO decision, there's also the legal route.
Yeah.
So if a patient feels that the complaint process...
So for this lady, She probably can sue because she maybe have some more time. But for the other black lady, it's 4 years. You can't really sue because you have 2 years to bring your complaint. So this lady is probably gonna sue for malpracticing. You know what I mean? And all of these things. And remember, once you see that her license is restricted, that means it's more than one complaint. A lot of people been complaining about this animal, but because their language barrier, maybe because they're black people, maybe they're new in this country. Who wants to fight with a prominent doctor if you're new in this country and just have a permanent resident card? Who the hell wants to fight with a doctor when you don't know the Canadian system? Who the hell wants to fight with a doctor when maybe probably you end up fighting and you end up being deported just because you fought? I'm just being sarcastic, but I'm just saying most of the people did not report her because they were new in the country, language barrier, and they were afraid. And majority of the time, there were minorities. Let's continue.
This hasn't gotten them the resolution they were hoping for or the closure they want. A lawsuit can be sometimes a better option because it is more focused on ensuring that there's the recovery for the plaintiff themselves for the specific damage they suffered, as opposed to discipline to the physician that won't necessarily amount to anything for the patient. As long as everyone gets tested, and then if they do have questions about their rights, they should seek legal opinion as soon as possible and just make sure that they're aware of their options and they avoid any issues with limitation periods.
Toronto Public Health says the office corrected the infection control issues, but for patients like Melanta, her experience with the doctor has stayed with her.
It was, without question, the most traumatic experience I've had with any medical professional possible.
Okay, so that was her experience. She complained about the doctor, but the black sister from Colombia didn't complain because she did not know the way how to complain. So let's listen to her story. This is the black sister. Okay, she was bleeding as well. She went in for a pap smear and ended up with a biopsy, bleeding as well, like everybody else. Never got no pad, never got no medication. She had to go to a non-profit place to go get a pad, get some comfort, and get some pain medication. Remember, she's coming from a doctor now, but who cares about more time about a black person, huh? I am just saying, is that true? I am not sure. Let's get to her part, okay?
Claudia Gomez had just moved to Canada from Colombia when she had a traumatic experience with a gynecologist. She said she went in for a pap test and was instead given a biopsy with no warning.
I was by myself. I didn't have any pad to protect myself. I started bleeding, and she said maybe I could be in pain for some days.
Gomez was a patient of Dr. Esther Park, and one of dozens of women who contacted CBC Toronto after we reported the doctor was under investigation for improper cleaning practices. Toronto Public Health says around 2,500 patients may have been exposed to hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV at Park's clinic. Like Gomez, many of the patients recently immigrated to Canada.
What did I say?
I didn't know the system, and I didn't know.
So most of her clients just migrated to the country. So why not take advantage of these dogs, in other words? What do they know? They don't know the system. They don't know the system, so why not take advantage and run up their old hip some more? Let me do a biopsy instead of a pap smear so I could get more money for the biopsy. She's not the only one that does these things. You have some of these dentists that they will do all kind of things to run up your benefit at work. You have some of these doctors, if you're not careful, they're so rude, they have no respect, they don't have no manners, especially as a person of color. Sometimes you go there, you need something from them. If you're not careful, they're acting like they're not your doctor. They're acting like you have to beg them for something. So let's continue.
From my country, it's difficult to access to a specialist. So we have to, look for someone, go through a long process. And I say, okay, if I'm here, so that if I ask for a change or whatever, it's gonna take forever. And I was in a difficulty, with my health. So, and I didn't know how to do it. And my English now.
And you guys know in Toronto, if you guys know the history, and if you guys know Toronto, there's so much people lacking of a family doctor. There's so much people lacking of a gynecologist. There's so much people lacking of other care in their life. So if you don't have a family doctor already, you better hurry up, because majority of these family doctors are leaving. And majority of the family doctor, they're fully booked and fully inpatient. They're not taking any new patients. So if you're in this world all this time and don't have a family doctor, then I would say shame on you. What have you been waiting for? You need a family doctor so you could have your medical records stay in one place in case you end up in the hospital, in case you need blood, in case all of these problems, you need your file and your medical file to be at one place in case of anything later on when it comes to your health. So you see how much patient is exposed to hepatitis B and C and HIV, 2,500. And majority of them are newcomers. Let's continue.
It's not great, but at that time, oh my goodness, it was very bad. And then I felt like hopeless.
You having
Gomez
tea?
said she ended up going to a nearby nonprofit that provides immigration and settlement support for help. At the time, she didn't know about the College of Physicians and Surgeons as an avenue to file a complaint.
I mean, at the best of times, people are very reticent to complain about their doctors. Very reticent. They're afraid to do it. There's a big power imbalance that's compounded as people are new Canadians. I would say the vast majority of people have no idea where to go, what to do. And if English is a second language, then the language barriers, can make access even worse.
The College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario is also investigating Dr. Park.
Yeah.
Her license is listed as restricted on the college's website.
So her license is marked as restricted. Her license is restricted, they said, but she still could practice a little bit, right? She was active from 1993, and now her license is restricted from 17th of December, 2024. So I'm only asking, did you ever went to this gynecologist?
In a statement, the CPSO says it aims to provide the public with access to services and support in the language of their choice. Patients calling the college can connect with an interpreter in one of 240 languages.
So just remember, we're not going to drag it out. So just remember, if you have a problem with your family doctor, you also can complain to them at the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Ontario. Okay? You could also complain about them. And once you tell your family doctor you're going to complain about them, it's so fast them straighten up themselves and fix up them tone, because now they know that you know the ropes, and you know yourself and know the rights of your health. And remember, you're the patient, and without you the patient, then there's no doctor. Because if every patient's supposed to be healthy, if every patient's supposed to look after themselves and be herbal doctors and don't go to doctor and stuff, most of these doctors will be out of practice. So just remember that you come first. You're the patient. The doctor's supposed to listen to you. Your doctor's supposed to give you a good care. The doctor not supposed to ill-treat you, discriminate against you, and all of that fact. If not, they could be reported. If not, they could be held legally. Okay, guys, so I had to come and shout out that content. I'm sorry that I never gave you guys a content yesterday, but I have a few content to give you guys today, like replenishing my pantry, also using my new juicer that I haven't used from I got it, so I want to use my juicer and to show you guys if it's a good juicer or not, and stuff like that. Anyways, guys, thank you for your patience. Like I said, running on with the rest of the content. I won't be dragging on this content any longer. So now you know, if you ever went to the doctor's office, what I just shout out, just remember that you're exposed basically to HIV and hepatitis C and B from 20 Eden Avenue, Dr. E.M. Park, gynecologist, okay? So if you ever went to this gynecologist's office and you don't know that you're exposed to these things, well, now you know. I came and shouted out quite fact. I'm not making up any story. This story in the news, this story been in the newspaper, but if you don't read, you won't know. And if you don't pay attention to news and pay attention only to mix up, then you won't even know this and know that your health is at risk for hepatitis C, B, and HIV. So I had to come and shout that out, man. Right your soul. So moving right on, guys, moving right on. I came early with the content because I know you guys been waiting. So let's move on to some other stuff, quick and fast. Now, we want to move into some other things, yes? So as you guys know, there's other things happening, and I want to get into it quick and fast. So if you guys didn't know, let me try to find a couple things. Now, we want to talk about some other things, guys. so to speak. Now, if I could find it, that would be a good thing. But if I can't find it, I'm going to kiss my teeth literally and pass. So, I don't know if you guys heard about a black girl that went to Dolphin Cove. Okay, let me get into it. So, there was an American went to Dolphin Cove. I'll show you her face quickly. We're back now with 1 second. So there was a sister that went to the Dolphin Cove in Jamaica and ended up getting hurt from the Dolphin Cove. I thought I had her pictures in here, but I guess not. I guess I didn't highlight her picture here. But listen to the story. So let's get to Jamaica for a second. American hospitals after Dolphin Cove excursion goes wrong. So let's get into this one quick and fast. A warning about a popular spring break attraction that landed a mother of two in the hospital. She was riding dolphins in Jamaica when she took a terrible fall. Gynae Norman is here with the story. Gynae, good morning. This was a serious injury.
A serious injury, Whit. And of course, right now we are right in the heart of spring break season, and it's on vacation that you get to do all kinds of these fun experiences.
So this was the lady. That was the lady. Went on vacation to Jamaica and ended up had a mishap in the Dolphin Cove in Jamaica. So they're warning you basically, okay? So let's continue.
This one involving swimming with dolphins comes with a warning, though, about the risks after this freak accident.
This morning, a warning about a popular spring break adventure.
I felt like I was in a car accident because it hit me super.
Okay. So this is the princess. This is the girl. This is who got into the little, ish-ash with the dolphins. The accident in Dolphin Cove in Jamaica recently, okay? So they're just warning you, be careful, be mindful, yeah? Let's continue.
Hard.
Sierra Stockard, a Tennessee mother of two, was on a getaway in Jamaica with friends when they decided to visit the Dolphin Cove, where tourists can go swimming with dolphins.
You swim out, and then you grab their fins, and they swim you back, and then they'll kiss you and high-five you and stuff like that.
Sierra opting for a special experience called the Royal Swim, where the dolphins push you into a standing position. She says she did it once, but didn't get a great photo, so she tried again.
The dolphin on my left side was kind of swimming a little bit faster than the dolphin on my right side. So it made me unbalanced. I just knew I was going to fall into the water. I just didn't expect to hit the fin.
She slipped and fell, landing on the dolphin's dorsal fin, causing a grapefruit-sized hematoma or blood clot.
I started panicking. It did knock the wind out of me that I was just like, oh my gosh.
Sierra has sickle cell anemia and had to be rushed to the hospital near Montego Bay to undergo emergency surgery.
Luckily, I'm in stable conditions to not be like all the way on my deathbed, but my hemoglobin can keep dropping at any time.
Yeah.
Experts say before you try one of these adventures, you've got to know the risks.
And it's so sad to know that she has sickle cell. And remember, going to surgery and all of that. Remember, at the end of the day, girl don't really have that much blood already. Remember, sickle cell more time is your white blood cell eat up all your red blood cells. So she had to be strong anyway. And the funniest thing, she never got a travel insurance. Let's continue.
Well-designed animal experiences can be excellent opportunities to connect with nature, but they are wild animals. No matter what condition they are in, they are wild animals. So people need to know that they are up to the experience.
Sierra says one thing she's grateful for, those animals. She says the dolphins knew she was injured and tried to help.
They came and rubbed against me and stop their bodies from swimming to be right beside me. They're the doctors of the sea is what people call them.
Doctors of the sea. Really sweet how the animals responded. We reached out to Dolphin Cove but haven't heard back. As far as Sierra, she says she wishes she had travel insurance because she believes that would have helped cover some of her medical bills. Last night she flew back to Tennessee.
Okay, so like I said, she flew back to Tennessee and she's going to go and look after herself in her hospital. But who nowadays days travel without any travel insurance? Come on, it's an extra $50, $60 for travel insurance. It's better bet. It's best that you have a travel insurance because you never know what would happen. So I had to come and shout that out with the dolphin problem goes wrong in Jamaica. I'm sure everybody goes to Dolphin Cove and come out and had a good experience, but this was the experience of her, so we had to shout that out quick and fast. Yes. Anyways, moving right on, guys. Moving right on. Now we want to talk about some other things in here. right here that I want to talk about, okay? I want to say again, big respect for those who always come around and come and watch the content as they can. I really appreciate you, yeah? Make sure that at the end of the day, you turn on your notification bell and just make sure that you always come along, and just remember to like, comment, and share and subscribe. Okay, now let's get into some other more stuff. Now, we want, since we're talking about the states and stuff, might as well we talk about everything else. Now, although we're talking about, yeah, so let's talk about this one here. Now, as you guys know, Mercedes-Benz wants car back from Deion Sanders' son Shiloh after alleged default. So as you guys know, Shiloh Sanders hasn't been kept up on his payments for his 2023 Mercedes-Benz. So right now they're asking, there was a bankruptcy and stuff like that. So right now they're saying, hey, Deion Sanders' son Shiloh, we want the Benz, give it back. You're not making any payments. Where is the money? Give it back, please, and thanks. So we had to come and shout that out as well. Since we're talking about that, might as well, instead of we're talking about that as well, let's keep it in the States for a second. We want to also talk about Young Thug. I don't understand Young Thug, yo. Young Thug right now seems like he's gonna be in hot water because the prosecutor filed motion to revoke his probation. Revoke his probation. Apparently Young Thug went to go say some things, go repost, I think, the prosecutor and some other people, and they said that go against his bail and stuff like that. So they wanted it to be revoke. So Young Thug seems like he's gonna be in trouble again when it comes to the prosecutor asking the judge to revoke Young Thug probation, because right now they're saying that he's not listening at all. So we had to come and shout that out as well. So you guys know that when it comes to Young Thug, sometimes we can't keep up with Young Thug, but we know that at the end of the day,
Hey creators, do any of these comments look familiar?
Young Thug got in trouble some last time, got some kind of deal, but to me the deal was shit. Because why bother get that bail and under them the kind of situation and stuff like that, and still under those kind of scrutiny, and still underneath those kind of problem where you could go back to jail anytime soon, right? So remember, it was longest time where he was denied bail, his lawyer was locked up and all of these kind of things. The judge had to be removed from the case and all of these kind of things. So why bother now? Be in problem with the court again after you're already out of bail, so to speak. So prosecutors asking to revoke his bail. So let's get into this one quick and fast since I mentioned it, okay?
The prosecutors are asking a judge to revoke Young Thug's probation immediately. So this is what we know about this. In a new motion, prosecutors claim the rapper has demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law and the safety of witnesses since his sentencing in the YSL RICO trial. The motion says that he used social media to intimidate witnesses, including a gang investigator whose address was posted online, leading to a violent threat, including one against Fulton County DA.
Do you hear this shit?
Young Thug replying on X, saying in part that he does not make threats to people and would never condone threatening anyone.
So you hear that, guys? So you hear why they want to pull this boy bail? Could you imagine? This is why they want to pull that boy bail. Quick and fast, yes? So now we already finished talking about Young Thug. We also want to talk about Cynthia Evu, Ariana Grande revealed first footage of Wicked, okay? This, remember, after she was in Wicked, remember now, girlfriend is stepping up the ladder because she's gonna be in a couple other more movie showing her skills and stuff like that. So it's not only Wicked movie she's going to be in, she's going to be in couple other stuff. So we want to big up this black sister because she's waving and riding the wave up and down. She is the sister of Wicked, if you guys know what I'm talking about. She's the one who starred that movie Wicked. And here she is now going with her good self. She's going to get into some other stuff. So we want to big up the sister for all of that. We also want to talk about a brother. that his brother actually needs a kidney. Okay, as you can see it, his brother needs a kidney, but he found out that his brother is going to be deported anytime soon to Venezuela. Okay, a Venezuelan man who came to US to donate a kidney to his brother learned this week he would be deportedly, prompting desperate pleas for him to release from immigration custody on a humanitarian grounds days later. Okay? Jose Gregorio Gonzalez was granted a reprieve from deportation. So this guy is here to give his brother kidney donation, and right now they say he's going to be deported. That is really sad because his brother really needs him, and they're saying that they're supposed to release him on humanitarian grounds. Okay, all of that good stuff. Now, we also want to get into some other stuff. As you guys know, Usain Bolt's father died at the age of 68. A long illness that he was battling with. Let his heart and soul rest in peace. Big up to the dad legend that pushed his son over the years to continue to run his track and field and embracing him as much as he can as a father. We also want to talk about, since we're talking about all of these things, we want to talk about this one. DHS said in 2016 it was not moving to deport a convicted Army vet. He spent most of his new term in ICE custody. So this is an Army vet, went to Iraq and everything. They want to deport this man to Trinidad. Say who now? They want to deport this man to Trinidad after he was deployed to Iraq more than one time. He ended up getting himself in some kind of trouble. Right now, they want to deport him. But right now, the court is saying that they're not moving to deport and convicted the Army vet because although he spent most of his Trump new term in ICE custody, they're not looking to deport him because he's supposed to be a vet. And you know, as being a veteran and you know, to be an Army vet, you know that you're supposed to be able to get your citizenship. So we're not sure what this is all about, but the next time we'll come and revisit the story and talk about the story some more. Okay, moving right on. We also want to talk about who else we want to talk about here now? Let's talk about immigration is basically telling you guys that in the wake of new travel rules for Canadians in the United States and the increased crackdown on Canadians in U.S. immigration, lawyers suggest that the people should travel to U.S. with a burner phone. So don't go to the U.S. with your rightful phone because sometimes you have some things on the phone that you think you erase, and when they pull up that, you'll be in hot water and you'll be detained. So right now the lawyers in Canada is saying, hey guys, travel with a burner phone. Don't bring your phone because you're not sure what's on your phone and you're not sure what you erased and didn't erase. So just travel with a burner phone. So that's a warning that they're giving you guys, so to speak. Moving right on. We also want to talk about Meghan Markle. So as you guys know that Meghan Markle step out, stole the prince stole the prince from the queen and his whole family. You know that the Meghan Markle, the family didn't see eye to eye with her and all of those kind of things. Well, girl is out here doing some things. Girl is out here selling her home goods, which include 3 herbal teas, 2 baking mixes, flour sprinklers, and raspberry spread. And she's selling those. Her product, the 8 product line range from $12 to $28. And for the first time she brought it up, everything sold out. So if you like some baking mixes, check Meghan Markle. If you like some herbal tea and some sprinklers and some raspberry spread, well, head over to Meghan Markle. She's selling them $12 to $28 a piece, a container of. So we had to come and shout that out as well. Now, since we're wrapping up the live, let's get to Shensia. So as we get to understand that Jamaican dancehall artist Shensia officially depart from Interscope Records. She's no longer with them, they claim. I am not sure why. I guess she wanted to be depart and go somewhere else. and all of that. But Shensia did go good when it comes to this Interscope records and all of that. And we still can't forget about the big lawsuit that Interscope, a label, was facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit over use of elements of Denise Belfon's soca song Work in Jamaican singer Lick collaboration with the rapper Megan Stallion. So remember, so there was a lawsuit with that. So I'm not sure why, if that's the reason why she's departing. I am not sure if the lawsuit has been rendered well in court or sorted out in court. But we know that they had that kind of troubles, my friend. Step way in. So right now that she's leaving, I am not surprised. Now we're there, now we're here, now we're there, now we're here. We want to also talk about Skeng. No, sir. They said out of Skeng performance and Dexter Dap performance, whose performance was great and good. Well, it looked like Skeng took the piece of cake because Skeng came out in Chucky costume. And I'm like, oh no. Oh yeah. Woyo. Man have stage performance, although he's on Molly. Kiss my teeth and pass. Molly's not good for you. One day you take Molly and you think you're okay and you overdose. Please go to rehab. Although it'll make you go on. The question becomes, if you don't take the Molly, can you perform? That's what we want to ask. Kiss me teeth and pass. Because him say Rolling Stone want to be a rock star. So I guess a rock star have to pop all of these pills, take all of these drugs. Oh no, what a black sin. But nevertheless, people, Skeng go on with himself. Look here, oh, look here. And we had to shout that out quick and fast. Now, I think that's all my content for you today. I think I talk out your ears more than that, more and more and more and more. And I think I'm going to leave you guys with all of that goodness that I had to come and shout out. So like I said, for all my loyal subscribers, I really appreciate you. Big thank you. And I really appreciate that you could come around and watch the content now and then. Hello Friday again. And don't forget, like I said, like, comment, and share. And at the end of the day, guys, don't forget to work hard. Remember, a idle mind is the devil's playground. And remember, when you work, you're accounted for. And just remember to save a little for the rainy day. So work hard and work smart at the same time. Okay, guys? And like I said, it's Friday. It's Friday. And for those who's having a happy birthday, shouting out your happy birthday. And this Friday, enjoy yourself, but don't enjoy yourself too much. Okay? And for all of those, to the people in my life who make me smile, love, and support me and bring me joy, I appreciate you. And at the end of the day, guys, let's get into some other stuff. So let's get into some other stuff, so to speak, guys, for a second. And then we're going to jump off of this like hopscotch. And like I said, thank you for having this patience for me to be coming out and just giving you guys my content, because I owed you guys a content from yesterday. And as like I said, I was a little bit busy, guys. So remember, we also want to talk about this. Let's get into some mix up for a second, quick and fast, yeah? So we want to talk about Tiki. So Tiki was locked up in ICE detention, begged to come out, cried to come out. I'm suicidal, please help me out, help me out. What I noticed in the black community, we will help murderers, we will help gunmen, we will help thieves, we will help people that not do nothing with themselves. But to pick up a youth out here, to take him and raise that money to send him to college and university, we're not doing that. We also find that we always encourage people to let themselves down, to bring them themselves, and to get themselves in trouble. So it seems like Tiki is in love with this boy, and the boy is not in love with him. And they've been telling him that Trev don't like him. He's just using him and all of these things. First, May said he come and tell him, and then Tiki found out on his own. So let's get to this one quick and fast.
Not want Tiki. Trev said it out of his own mouth with his own tongue. Trev do not want Tiki. I only need to tell Tiki that I don't need to write it from one placard and put it up until Tiki sees. And then Tiki, if Tiki is already, you know, like when you're in an abusive relationship, and the man beat you, and then him come and him call you and him buy your gifts, and him say, him love you and him in love with you and him want you, but him a tell you that what he not tell you in a public, him a tell you in a private. Him a go with him a tell you on the phone, when nobody not hear him, but he will never come and say it out public. Right? So, if I'm being honest, right? Why am I getting crucified for my honesty? And the people that were Papa Show Tiki and the people that were tell Tiki say, don't left him, the kid wanna left him. Oh, Tiki gonna left somebody when he shot him the day. How is Tiki gonna leave someone that shot with not there with her?
Hey, this
You know,
fit
they
them
were
not
the first
easy, you
police
know?
before you can left them.
This is something else.
Eh? Mama asking a question, guys. Yesterday, right? Was I bringing down Tiki? Was I talking like I was bringing down Tiki? Was I talking that I was like I was? Why when people talk the truth? Imagine, girl, may I do you a favor? May I ask the questions them so you can hear? May I ask the questions them so you can hear with your own ears? And then you, I gonna say, me want bring you down. Tiki, I could have come and talk a long time. I mean, I say.
So you see, so then after that, Macy told him that Trev don't want him. Well, Tiki realized that it seems like the man don't want him for true. Let's get into this one.
Part where he said he didn't like you, because my stomach, my heart kind of dropped. But me never hear what you say no. It was saying, girl, Tiki and Chef, they side and side too much with Cheba text that he want to know Tiki more. What kind of boy you want to know Tiki? You know Tiki inside and outside and everywhere. Tiki turn up feel like a soldier in the army. And you let go Tiki in the back to feel like one chuck run over Tiki. The thing is, he was being honest when he told his friends that.
Pepper, listen to me. You know my boys that when me choose. You know me I go to work, Pepper. You know me I go to work, Pepper. At surgery me go run. Johnny at the house with them man now. I'm gonna roll up and they go fuck me on the side.
Jesus Christ.
Enough time you can run over school and in a fire when you go book up like a piece and call. When me go to my jelly them man, at surgery me go run. Me no run joke. And me come to this away. Let me talk. And can me come for live and show you in a week after. Remember the days like when in a week and Pepper, me here for the water to tell me the live audio. Me say change the shame so tell me if any live now.
I know you feel shame.
We in the night tonight. That's how I can show Chef in the week. Me feel so bad. Me can't tell me I cry. Me still leave it alone because me accept in that way. All of them here too much and the whole of them say, oh man. And you come up here and all you say, Nicky, and that guy named King Chevy and him there. I said yes. And you say that the woman name is a manipulator. He is a this. Me say, Alia, me still want him. Everybody come at you, Chef. Me always a pick up you. And you go on the bush. You go on the car. Me tell you, it's not a fool. Don't think you're serious for me. Nobody knows sense what I mean. That is what I mean.
Tiki, you see? Women don't understand is
when you try to pray, and you try to talk to you within the night, and you still have to film out of your back.
Tiki, as when me say, pick up for me in a public, cuss me in a public, and we in a house, you piss me up in a private, and say, Pepper, you chat too much.
But me and him friend come up in a...
Pepper, you see that champion on the head side right there, so? I'm a man, Jimmy. Pepper, me come up to me, man. Me come up to me, man. You hear me, I say, Pepper, fabulous straight wide. Me no want the American, and me like the right that's Pepper. And I worry how the people in place I go outside. If you come prancing, you know, so the women in the right that's why they go digging on must come through and hurt me. Me man, I have Jamaica stress out over me. People are going to say me enemy use to create judgment in Jamaica. Me come back and find me. Me child must avoid me. I know man no want to hold me. But Pepper, at least I can't, at least I don't see me in the war. When me are going to the house, when me are going to the war. You make me work. Check me kind of fight you night. When you are fight, me kind of fight you. I know.
Alright, hear this again. Pepper, hear this again when me hear Trev say things like what hurt my heart. On the interview, when I interview with Becky and him, hear Trevor go say, me still love Becky and me that try to make it out.
Don't talk about that black rose. Don't say that. See the text how me send in the same time. Remember saying it's a terrible one. Me say, me say, oh, you still love Becky? Me say, stick by Becky. Oh, sir, since you still have feelings and you still love her, goodbye. Me black him, I'm blacking him because I'm an antident back, so me device know them and me start out. You tell your friends what you want to tell them and you tell me what you want to tell me. Never know so much thing to that it out of the bag now. Be frightened.
Is it tonight?
Nobody will talk about life, you still have feelings. Somebody, you know, when you be talk about life, say, you still have feelings. Somebody, we are talking to
done, and yet still you know that somebody say some of them people attack say, are you and the Gynaecologist? And yet you attack say you have feelings in the dark same way. You expect
I never liked that part.
I
never liked.
But I was coming up here to defend him, because I was just going to say, Jesus Christ,
I did was from the start. I was
Panalize. Even if you don't have that in your heart, panalize.
So the heart nearly 4,000 people.
Tiki, me not tell no lie, me dey panalize them from last night to tonight. I me tell you the truth. The girl them a up me a eye, but you just think say wrong. The girl them a tell you. The girl them a up me a eye right through. Right.
And that big one they not try to do.
And that Macy them are trying to too.
And that big one I fight them not try to do.
Ali a big one, Macy, all I girl them up me a eye a long time. I tell her say, oh chef, and but you just now listen Tiki. Sometimes we make we ego get over with too much Tiki. Girl them a want us a chef, they no want nobody. Chef, you can block me tonight coming. I like you for a long time because you use my friend.
I
like that, Trev. Chef just want selling sweetie Tiki. Avoid him Tiki, you know, short out.
Trev really want you Tiki. We can't highlight everything. I was there from the start.
Because even since night when Trev friend come on the live and confirm when Macy asks Trev friend say, Trev feel for Tiki, and the guy said straight up said Trev don't want a relationship or anything to do with Tiki, and that's Trev friend.
I did hear that part. We can't sit down and watch Chef, you know, because in that Chef face, he have one different look. Like, you know them about but just don't want nobody, they just want to play, you forget push forward, they want to reach me, agree, say help Tiki. Help Tiki with certain things, but Tiki, let me tell you something. These boys don't love nobody, baby. These boys love themselves. These boys love sweet. Look out of your eyes, you just reach. Mother then did a want you, big one then did a want you, whole like girl then team up and want you, but you feel like I bring them down, yeah, them
Him friend said that's just business, them are just a business.
Chef close friend.
I did hear that part. My heart dropped when he said that. Jesus Christ.
I asked Trev, them say, you know why Tiki mad, you don't know. Oh, you have to know that. Oh, you have to know why I'm angry.
Tiki is human. His feelings, he got embarrassed in front of all these people. The stuff that he told his friends talk about, say he don't like Tiki, and I said, wait a minute, and he was very honest. He's a very honest person. Very honest. Even that. Very honest. Trev, when he was saying that, he did say